Harris has had some big crowds, as Trump always does. But on Sunday, he took this to another level, posting a rant on his Truth Social saying, quote, "Has anyone noticed that Kamala cheated at the airport? There was nobody at the plane. And she AI'd it and showed a massive crowd of so-called followers, but they didn't exist. She was turned in by a maintenance worker at the airport when he noticed the fake crowd picture, but there was nobody there, later confirmed by the reflection of the mirror like finish on the vice presidential plane. She's a cheater, had nobody waiting, and the crowd looked like 10,000 people. Same thing is happening with her fake crowds at her speeches. This is the way Democrats win elections, by cheating, and they're even worse at the ballot box. She should be disqualified because the creation of a fake image is election interference. Anyone who does that will cheat at anything, all based on a tweet." All of this nonsense, all based on a tweet with a still image claiming Harris was busted faking the crowd. Except we know none of that's true. There's video that shows the same crowd. They're actively cheering as the vice president, Governor Walz, arrive. That's the crowd that Trump said was created by AI, alive and well. Those videos were shared 2 days before Trump posted his theory, by the way. There are also many more photos of the event that were shared on social media showing various angles of that real-life crowd greeting the real-life plane in Michigan. And this is where his comments last week and before that are relevant, because he seems to have a near obsession with crowd size. It is fair to say the media recognizes that, and one member of the media at the press conference last week, it seems, tried to set him off with a question about it.
Are you worried at all about the size of Harris's crowds?
Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday, 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. It's so dishonest, the press.
But even when he wasn't asked, he brought it up again.
If you look at Martin Luther King, when he did his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything, same number of people, if not, we had more. And you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people, and I'm okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King.
What is he talking about? And why is he talking about this? This obsession didn't just start in this cycle. Remember, back in 2016, he was fighting about his crowd sizes. But ask almost anyone in his inner circle, the people who want him to win, and they will tell you they wish he would stop talking about it. Because it has nothing to do with why anyone would vote for him over Harris. So why would he keep doing it? Can he just not help himself? Joining us now is someone who knows about this issue firsthand, former White House press secretary under President Trump, Sean Spicer, a NewsNation political contributor. Sean, good to see you. All right, so that is my question. Why do you think that Trump is doing this? Can he just not help himself on this issue?
Look, I think this goes back to a degree of wanting the respect for the size and scope of the movement that he's had. And he never felt as though the media has given him his due, that he took this movement out of nowhere. He's not a political creature. He's a businessman that jumped into politics and established a movement, frankly, I've not seen in 30 years of politics. And I don't think that the media has ever given him the respect that he deserved for developing that. In fact, you know, if you think about it, during the primary campaign of 2015, it was he doesn't have a ground game. He doesn't understand politics. You've got these other successful politicians, Jeb Bush, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, who, you know, clearly will best him. He probably won't make it. And again, he busted through sort of political hurdles. He said things that no one else had ever said in politics and was successful. And I think his view is, at some point, will you at least show me a little bit of respect about the movement that I've created? And I think that's just deep in his bones, that he doesn't feel that anyone has ever given him that proper due.
That is a really interesting analysis that I don't think that.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.